think I'm live. I think I should leave that on. Okay. Let me know. I don't know if you can see me. Yes, you can. Peace, YouTube. Check on in. It's so casual. I have a new camera, so it's a little hot. Let me take my thing off. I look really casual today. Check on in. There we go. It's working. Peace, YouTube. This is Flipper. I'm coming to you today with a new topic of discussion. Hey, everybody. Coming on in. Okay. It's so quiet and casual on my camera, so I'm happy. I'm keeping my camera up off the girls because some of you can't handle the girls. So, peace, everyone. All right, we've got a big topic, and I will say, check on it. I'm going to wait until people check on in. This is really major. Hey, Melissa. This is really like an emergency broadcast, but I'm going to tell you that they may take this off. So I'm going to wait until everyone comes in because this is a big topic and it is very controversial. It's not even controversial. It's what's happening and what's going to happen. So I'm going to wait until everyone checks on in. Give some people time to come in the room. So, how's everybody doing? I know it's been a while. Oz in Brooklyn. Hey, April. Hey, An. Hey, Melissa. Okay. And yes, I am here for the shenanigans. Okay. Once I check. Oh, my mushes is there. Starting. No. There we go. Cut it out, camera. Okay. Detroit is in the house. What's good? Detroit. Gang stalking, simulation, behave yourself if you want to stay. I know that you're saying you're being gang stalked, but your name is gang stalked. So if you want to stop being gang stalked, maybe you shouldn't put your name as gang stalked. Remember, you project this reality. So when you name yourself that, you basically are attracting that which you're naming yourself. So if you don't behave yourself, I'm going to remove you. So, I'm just giving you a FYI. If you're here, you're more than welcome to stay if you behave yourself, if you're respectful. Okay, that's my channel's name. Yes, I know that's your channel's name. I'm just saying you naming yourself that, but if it's your channel's name, then you attract that. You attract that which you are. Okay? Come on in, y'all. I wish I could play music because I'm all themed out. Okay? All right. So, North Carolina's in the house. Mississippi's in the house. I already say Brooklyn. On is in Brooklyn is in the house. Mexico is in the house. So I have to say Toledo, Ohio is in the house. 914, what's good? Westchester County's in the house. San Diego, what's good? Virginia's in the house. Texas, deep in the heart of Texas. Garisasao is in the house. Lorena, I don't know how to pronounce that. Garisasao. South Africa's in the house. Maryland's what's good? Cleveland's in the house. Atlanta's in the house. Oklahoma, Maryland, Virginia Beach. What's good? I love Virginia Beach. UK is representing. What up, Indigo? South England, UK is in Tanzania's in the house. Africa. Poconos, what's good? Pennsylvania. Croatia, representing Charlotte, Dayton's in the house. Spain is in the house. South Vietnam is in the house. Ghana is in the house. Georgia was good. Kelly, Greenfield, North Carolina. Massachusetts was good. Russia is in the house. Amsterdam, DC was good. Washington, what up? Miami, hot. Mucha Kinchi, what's up? South Carolina's in the house. Netherlands in the house. Colorado is in the house. I'm waiting. I'm just burning time, y'all, because I want people to check in because they're gonna shut down the video. So I'm trying to I'm trying to get the information out. Listen, South Carolina's in the house. Alabama's in the house. St. Louis is in the his house. Kentucky, Nigeria. What's good? I missed you too, Mama Cakes. California. Canada's in the house. Now, I am drinking from a cup that you are familiar with, but you will be very proud of me. I haven't touched Starbucks since the fast. I think, I don't want to lie, maybe I didn't. But this is my own little elixir. So I use the cup because you know that let me do my FYI. I am an addict of Starbucks. So I am a recovering addict. They should have my pictures up all over the country when it comes to that. Okay. So because of that, I'm recovering and I made this. You'd be very proud. I made this. This is all organic. This is straight from Colombia. Big up to Colombia. Buenas tardes, buenas tardes, and bon tage, good afternoon. Hello, my loves. North Carolina's in the house. What's good? Gainesville is that Michelle Laster, and many of you know my first language is French, so sometimes you will hear a French accent. I'm joking. It's my first language. Bon tage, Lejena. I will be in Brazil soon. Tennessee is in the house. You know, Brazil, everybody knows Brazil is like my second home. New York representing. Clarksville, Atlanta's in the house. Okay. Coupe de Ville. Isn't that, remember, it's like Philly representing. Philly, you know, y'all don't show up until, that's how you know when it's really, everything's coming correct. When Philly shows up, I show out. You ever notice that? Philly shows up, I show out. What's good, Philly? Brooklyn's in the house. What up, BK? New Zealand's in the house. Kansas. I'm burning time. I want people to check in because, again, this video is most likely going to be shut down. I'm not making predictive programming. The topic that I'm going to discuss is going to cause issues. So, you know, if I'm coming into you on a Saturday, dressed in all white, let me give a shout out to my seamstress who made this amazing. Oh, I got my thing all showing. I'm not showing the girls today because we have company. Connecticut was good. Philly. Look at all the Phillyaks in the house. What up, Philly? Philly represents it. Y'all don't get props. You notice that? You don't get props, Philly. Y'all need to get props because Philly, like, they ruffians. I mean, if I want to go to battle, I got to have some Phillyaks in the house. I do have to have Phillyaks. Jamaica's in the house. What up? But. Big up to Jamaica's in the house. Atlanta. I need to have some Phillyaks in the house. I need to have Atlanteans. And I definitely need to have my New York brethren showing up. And of course, my Caribbean family. Because, you know, they always about that life. Remember, they were the only ones who cut off the heads of the Western colonizations, the colonizers up in the Caribbean. That's why you got the Maroons living up in the bush saying, y'all ain't coming up here causing no madness up in the bush. We'll cut your heads off like we did your ancestors. Jamaica don't make no jokes. Haiti, where's my Haitian family? Ça passe in the family. Toronto's in the house. Okay. Thank you. Come on in. Kilimanjaro's in the house. What's good? All right. Are you guys ready? I'm trying to make sure more people come in. I know I do my videos impromptu. Again, this may be taken down, so I just want to make sure I just got to make sure I get everybody in here, okay? Las Vegas, Norway's in the house. Eucalena, an old lady died at your apartment building and decomposed. It was in a building going to be haunted. Oh my God, what? I'm sorry about that. Florida's in representing in the house. Haiti. St. Croix. What's up, Caribbean islands? My Caribs. Okay, we got to get it up. Yeah, because they're not going to come in, and they're going to come in later. So I want to get when I give the information, it's going to be y'all. If I'm coming in on a Saturday, dressed in all white, you know I'm coming in to give you information. I got the ancestors all in the house. All right. So Oahu's in the house. What up, Hawaii? Upstate New York. I love upstate. You have such beautiful greenery. London's here. London. Would you like a swap? Jessica doesn't want me saying that out loud. So would you like swap? There's a cake that they eat, and I like to say it, but it's really dirty. So I can't say it out loud because Americans, we don't have that kind of cake. Queens representing the borough. Queens in the house. My hair is actually not messy. I just have my hat on, and it kind of messed up my hair. I have a beautiful style. And my hair like braided in the back like this, like old times. It's so pretty. I just put the hat on because the information I get, I got to cover my crown. I got to wear all white. I got to deflect you. I got to deflect Willy Wonka. All right, y'all. If we get it up some more, I'm going to start. London representing Orange County, California in the house. Netherlands representing. Memphis, Tennessee. What's good? Should I do it? Let me do a dance. Who knows that dance? If you know that dance, you're from Generation X. Remember this? Who could name that dance? Alaska represented. I am so silly. Remember this? Bogle. How you know the Bogle? Oh, you saw me on Black Bank. Big up to Brother Rich, who was brave enough to bring me on. I got to give props. Thank you, Brother Rich. I appreciate you having me on. I did behave on your channel, and I'm so appreciative because you were very gracious, and I appreciate you having me on. I met some really amazing new friends, and I'm very happy because as the doors close, others open. I'm really appreciative. So thank you, Brother Rich. And I gotta give. Matter of fact, let me show myself. I'm about to start, y'all. So I'm about to give. Florboon doesn't apologize very often. I do when I mistake someone or I make some judgments. I want to really give an apology and a shout out in the same breath. And it's all love on the higher planes of existence outside of this quantum and in the higher quantum field. I got to give a shout out to Brother Panic. I got to put apology because I got to put some respect on that entity's name. And I say entity because his consciousness is really valuable and I respect it. So I got to put an apology on Brother Panic's name and also put some respect on him and the ancestors that have ushered him in with the knowledge and the amount of wisdom. So I got to put that out there because I talk smack, especially if I feel like someone is a certain way. So I really have to do that. So let me put that out there in the energies because when I share this information, the reason why this qualified information is coming out is because of the consciousness of Brother Panic. So, many people have to realize that sometimes you have to really see people from an angle of wisdom rather than judgment. And sometimes you judge people based on because he's a New Yorker, sometimes they come out, oh, thank you, Lori, I appreciate it. Thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, yeah, someone said his conversation like bitters. I'm just saying I got to give her props. So I got to put an apology because whenever you have spoken ill of someone or have judged someone harshly without knowing where that spirit comes from and how it was initiated into that conscious higher awareness, you got to always come full circle and put some respect on their name. I'm putting respect on his name and putting a full apology to the ancestors that have ushered him into this reality, and also those before him, like Bobby Hemmett, who is really the one who cultivated this this individual, and I really have to put that out there because I speak mad. I'm reckless. I'm a New Yorker, y'all, and I'm Creole, and it's triple Sag. Sometimes sometimes I'm just reckless. I said I wasn't a lover lighter, so I got to put respect. So respect, big up to Brother Panic up in this piece. All right, big up to some of you reckless occultists doing the work that most people would be frightened to do. So let's get into the conversation. I think we're gonna start, y'all. Should I wait until the 500 mark? I'll wait until 500 people come in, and we'll start the conversation. Because, like I said, I don't know if this video stay up or not. I'm already on, issues, and many of you know that they hacked my channel here on YouTube. And because they hacked my channel, I had to wait it out a little bit. So big up to YouTubers. The YouTube background, YouTube helped me get my channel back. They had hacked my channel and took over. Yeah, so big up to the YouTube people in the backlay who actually helped me get my stuff back. So big up to them, because I'm going to be reckless today in sharing this information that isn't supposed to be talked about. So because of that, I got to give a big up to YouTube family that got my channel back from being hacked. Because after I came on Brother Rich, they came for me, y'all. So I'm coming in here giving you information that I had to think about giving it, and I felt like it's my responsibility to tell you and share with you what's really going on. All right. Once we get to 500, y'all, I'm gonna start, and once I start, there isn't any stopping me. So let's check on in. All right. I got my own elixir. It's not Starbucks, but it tastes darn good, and I made it myself, organic. Because the graphene is no joke. They putting graphene in the Starbucks, y'all. Demons in the drinks. Watch your kids, watch your wife, watch your kids, watch your wife, okay? Okay? Twitter this out. Okay, we almost there. We at that marker, 500, we going in, y'all. Put the energies, because it's off the chain. Yeah, they put in the craziness. What YouTube helped me, AJ. I would listen. Let me give a big up to Twitter. Twitter helped me. Let me give a shout out to Twitter YouTubers. YouTube, what are they like? Those are the people who handle YouTube things. So if ever you get your channel hacked, y'all, go to Twitter, YouTube administration. They will be on it. It took 48 hours, but they got my channel back. Somebody hacked it, and it was after I came on Brother Rich, because they came for me. They didn't like the information. And I was really quite passive on Brother Rich's show. I didn't even feel like I gave much information. Most of you know me for years. I try to keep everything kind of, low key. You know what I mean? All right, put a like on the video too. If you come in the house, just as a respect, make sure this video stays up. Put a like on this video for the shenanigans. Okay, we about to go in. We got a little bit more, almost at 500. We're gonna start it, because once I begin, like I said, I won't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. So, big up to everybody in the house. I have white on. I'm trying to keep, the coffee. Yeah, I'm a little messy. Oh, snap. We're almost there, y'all. We're going to shoot off into the Beetlejuice. Did I give a shout out to Brother Panic? Let me give a shout out to those who ushered him in. Big up to Bobby Hemmett. I got to give most honor and respect to my initiator into my own qualified consciousness. I got to give a shout out to Rest in Power, to the Almighty, the Masterful, the Bomb.com. Dr. Delbert Blair. Y'all know that's who I'm about all day, every day. Okay? Oh, we're almost there, y'all. Come on in. Can't stop, won't stop. I'm so silly. Okay? Come on in, y'all. Everybody, we're almost there. I'm going to shoot off into the Beetlejuice. Once I go into the Beetlejuice, there ain't no returning. And I'm going to ask that as you come in here, please make sure, make sure that you have given your consent to take this information in, because I'm a triple purple pill you today. And because I'm triple purple pilling you, I need your consent to be in here. So if you want to be purple pill, you better put some purple up in this piece. Put it up in the house on the side. If you're ready to be purple pilled. Yes, I'm a purple pill you. I'm a triple purple pill you. I might even take you off into the stratosphere. So if you okay with that and you giving me your consent for that, then by all means you can stay. But the information that I'm about to share is going to blow you out into the other, hopefully outside the firmament. That's what I'm hoping. That's the only reason I'm sharing it. Purple pill you. I'm ready. We got a couple more. I'm almost at that 500 mark. Once I hit that 500, we're going to go off in the stratosphere. Dr. Delva Blair, I tell you, whew, I was having contact. And let me tell you, for those of y'all who ain't living righteous, you better get it right real quick before August. Oh, you better get right with your high. Oh, we hit that 504. 504, boys. Where's 504? 504, boys. Where's 504? Is that like California? Is that California? Because my husband used to make jokes about that. He was like, I used to say 504, boys. Okay, let's get it in, y'all. So big up to everybody in the house. Welcome, peace to the east, the west, and on the north and the south, peace to the above and below, up in the house. Welcome. This is Fleur Brune coming to you today with multiple topics of discussion. So I hope everybody's doing well. Right now, you have a lot of major things occurring, especially as we are reaching a precipice of evolution. And at this point, I hope that everyone is really staying on their P's and Q's as we're being ushered into a lot of agenda-based programming by Willy Wonka and his League of Doom. So before I start, I will just say this. Oh, let me fix my computer because it's going to be hot in the house. As you know, I just moved, so I have some boxes. Do I have boxes? Yeah, I think I have boxes back there. All right. So, as many of you know, a lot of things have been occurring over the last, I think the last time I came to you was on Brother Rich's channel. For some of you who didn't see Brother Rich's channel, some of you are not from that. I don't advertise. When someone has another show that I do or I'm interviewed on, I let them take the shine for that show because they're being so gracious enough to invite me on. So I let Brother Rich handle like just advertising me. So some of you on this channel may have not known I was on Brother Rich's channel. So just letting you know, FYI, it's like after the fact, okay? So as you know, Willy Wonka and his League of Doom are up to absolutely no good. They are trying to usher you into the freedom cities. Now, for some of you who join us on Patreon, let me give a big up to my Zombies. Big up to my Zombies. We were really initiated for the Scorpion eclipse full moon. So for y'all who survived that, I'm assuming y'all have survived because you're all here. But you do know that that full eclipse moon in Scorpio kicked your butts. I mean, it was literally kicking people out so that it would initiate its initiator. So really with that Scorpio full eclipse moon, it initiated us into higher order. That's why I had to give props and big ups to Panic, because what it did is it initiated me into higher order of occult knowledge. And many people know that I had judged him so harshly years previously, but you got to be careful because you aren't to really, things show up a certain way to deter others from getting in that doorway because they ain't qualified and they aren't qualified to be able to be initiated into that consciousness. So do know that the eclipse had really initiated many of you. So if people were leaving your lives, you should be grateful because literally it allowed for greater, higher energies to come in. Okay, so I got to congratulate all you for surviving the Scorpio eclipse, y'all. That was like, it was like when someone's conjuring magic and they're going like this, like it's this building. That's what that was. It was an initiator. Okay, so with that coming in, Willy Wonka and his League of Doom are up to no good, y'all. Let me explain something right now. I think many of you know, I'm not sure if I shared it on Zoom or not. Before, when I was fasting, I was able to be initiated into having mediumship or becoming more of a beautiful conduit between the veils that normally I have access to at certain points and references in my life. Many of you know I'm a contactee. I'm in contact with the Andromedans and other, I wouldn't want to call them extraterrestrials. Like, what some of you would consider them interdimensionals, in extraterrestrials or interterrestrials, okay? Because of that fast that many of you, big up to everyone who joined us for that 30-day fast. I got to give you props. Whoever really joined us for the fast, you guys at thebomb.com. It initiated with me with my grandmother. So now I have open communication. And some of you who joined us on Patreon and Zoom also know that I've been doing some, what is it like? A kind of like Project Looking Glass, looking into other realms, seeing things outside of this realm. What is it called? It's not Project. What is it called? I'm like doing. I do it with water. I forgot what it's called. What do I do? Remote viewing. Thank you, Deborah. Remote viewing. So unfortunately, I found out what happened to Kanye West. If you want to listen to that remote view, you can go to Patreon. It's really quite sad, and I don't want to ponder too much on it because it's depressing. That being out there walking around isn't Kanye West. That is a double of some sort. I don't know if they cloned him or whatever, but that isn't him. What they did to that man is that's why he's so quiet. So if you want to listen to that remote viewing and the remote viewing outside of the firmament, you can come over to Patreon. Other than that, let's get into it, y'all. So right now, we are being initiated, and we are now about to go through a huge evolutionary process. Now, many of you I don't know your ages, so depending on your ages, I mean, I vetted this out already, so the information I'm giving to you is 1000% accurate. You know, when I give you those status quos, you already know what time it is. That's why I say I wanted to talk to you during this video and give it to you all, because I don't know if this is going to stay up, if they're going to take it down. And for me to come on a Saturday, I'm about that life. There was a particular date. Let me wait for that, because I may have to wait, because if they shut down the video, let me just make sure my computer's not hot. Hold on. I gotta be mindful of how I share this with you. So right now, let me explain what's going on with Willy Wonka first. Willy Wonka and his League of Doom are absolutely on full deck right now. Many of you know that there have been multiple different beings that are being invited into the United States, and they're coming through the borders not as a invasion. They are invitees, y'all. I want you to know that your holographic presidents, because your holographic pseudo presidents, because you know that being wasn't initiated and wasn't qualified to say that they were the president. That's because all social media is being ran by the Molochians, the Zionists, I don't want to say their other name, okay? They've been initiated. So those people are being invited here. You do know that ultra soldiers are being let in the country in the droves. There's 4 million plus people that were invited into your country, and they have literally been disseminated in different states, and some actually are being trained by your wonderful Willy Wonka and a League of Doom in specific places. I know there's one in Utah. I think there's one in Texas. I know there's a couple places where they are taking these ultra soldiers, because I want you to know that if you look at any of the images of the people crossing the border, you do know many of these men are of war, of soldier age, right? So these are very young, healthy. They don't look like they're coming from third world countries, y'all. Do you understand that these males that were coming through the border, and it was mostly males, and big up to all of you who have been part of my channel for a long time, when I told you years ago what they were doing in Europe was going to come to your neck of the woods. I explained to you that they vilified this woman who was in Austria. Big up to the reporter in Austria, this C-star, and they were vilifying her, calling her racist, calling her a hater, because she was upset that in Europe about, what was this video? Oh gosh, I made videos for so long. This is about maybe 8 years ago, maybe 8 or 10 years ago. This woman was denoting, a reporter was denoting all of these super soldiers that were being brought over from countries that Europe had already destabilized and destroyed. They had seen their mothers blown up in buildings and their grandmothers being killed and their children being ripped apart. They had seen this. They were letting the same people that they destabilized, the countries that they destabilized, into their country. And many of you who are from Europe do remember how many crimes and vicious murders were occurring in your country after your country sold you out. And remember, the beings on top aren't for you. They weren't ever represented for you, and you didn't vote them in because they're not even human. They already made contractual agreements with the Greys, which weren't Greys as far as like being part of anything. These were basically the delegates or the bioborgs that were created to come down here that had entities inside of them that were initiating treaties that were selling you out for food and fodder. Okay? So do know, we're going to get into fentanyl too. Thank you. We're going to get into fentanyl. So do know in Europe, you did have a right to speak up because you saw firsthand, and that was the beta test for what they were going to do for the United States and Canada and Australia. If you notice, big up to our Australian family because they are being monitored, restricted, and they are the beta test of the Chinois that basically took over their entire country. I feel sorry for the Australians because if you hear, most of the Australians aren't even allowed to talk online right now. Your whistleblowers from Australia have literally been diminished, restricted, and marginalized, and they are being vilified over there. So I always tell you, family, because I remember some of you calling me a hater and saying I was banter. My banter was being reckless. No, I told you that what you allow for another country, you are inviting. It's the law of attraction. What you do and what you allow will come to your doorstep. Right now, in the United States, you have a holographic Satanist entity who is multi-tiered. That is one entity being represented under multiple masks. That's why he can't walk up and down stairs, because his mask makes him unable to see it out of his mask. You know, when you're wearing a Halloween mask and it's hard for you to see down and up, you were joking, think it was a geriatric problem. No, son, no, it wasn't a geriatric problem. It was a masked problem. The entities that are wearing the mask, including most likely one of those characters, is Obama wearing a mask. And if you don't know that they make silicone masks like that, go and do a throwback to Michael Jackson when he used to try to walk around town with masks because he was trying to hide his identity. What you're seeing with your President Kazoo, which is not one person, it's multiple people wearing masks, they are trying to initiate the qualified and the event that is now on your doorstep. So right now, you have 4.5 million ultra soldiers that have been unleashed into the United States. They aren't staying near the borders. Oh, no, no, no. They are being shipped into the interior strategically in every state. They are being trained just like the Al-Qaeda was trained by the United States as well. They are being trained internally. If you don't remember, y'all, remember in Canada, you were seeing the Chinois being trained outside the borders in Canada. And then remember, we talked about that the Chinois soldiers were being trained on US soil. Okay? So do know right now you have the dissemination of ultra soldiers. They're not super soldiers. See, that's the funk that we've been told. And I want to tell you, y'all, every single tier of YouTube Intellis are basically working for this cat in array. They were all initiated by Willy Wonka. So all these so-called whistleblowers using terminology that was being initiated and created by your governmental systems, those are all smoke and mirrors. They're meant to give you terms and make you distracted, because what I'm about to share with you is what you weren't allowed to know, and it is basically a bait and switch. Every country, every placement that is under these Satanists And they're not Satanists, y'all. These are beings that were lifers, looper lifers. These are beings that aren't allowed to leave because they're chaotic and they're Satanists. This is a prison for them. They are triple OG life loopers, and they know how it goes down in the get down, which is in the United States, Europe, Africa. Africa, I am so sorry for the continent, but most of Africa was a breeding ground for melanin, which these beings use as a form of protection and as a way to do a jump room out of this piece, which they aren't, and they've been denied for a reason. So come into the house, put a like on this video, because I'm about to come in, and when I can't stop, it's going to be over. What's going on right now is a setup, y'all. Oh, my lip gloss? Sorry. Let me look appropriate. I'm getting hot in here, so take up all your clothes. I am getting too hot. I want to take my clothes off. Okay. Let me look appropriate. Hold on. Let me listen. It's about to go on beyond and popping. Let me take a sip. Let me take a sip for the ancestors. Sip for my grandmother. My grandmother like caffeine. Big up to my grandmother. Big up to my daddy. These are my ancestors that I love. My grandmother's been giving me intel, y'all. Remember, you're supposed to go to your own ancestors. I ain't going to no Orishas. I didn't get the information from Jesus. I certainly didn't get it from Allah. I didn't get it from the bean pie man on the corner of Harlem. I got my information from my own ancestors who have transcended, that are basically bleeding over information to y'all. Plus the wonderful Andromedans, and I'm about to drop it like it's hot a little later for some of you sun stars who have sold us out to the Satanists and the dead ones. Let me take a sip for y'all. Put a like on the video if you up for the shenanigans today. So let me explain something, y'all. Right now, you are being baited by false narratives that have been controlled opposition since the initiation of YouTube. And no, I'm not using symbols. Let me explain something. I haven't worked for the CIA. I'm not working for the FBI. I'm not under the tier of patriarchy. I'm not being contracted by any Satanist. This is really the real deal. I am the big mama. I'm the one who's supposed to give you this information, and I am qualified, and I've been initiated, and I am grateful to come here today to give this information. Okay? So when people say, oh, she's doing hair. No, I'm Creole, and I'm from New York, and I'm feisty, and I'm from Generation X. We use our hands, and be happy I'm using my hands in this way and not this way. Okay? Because I'm initiated in higher orders. Okay? So let's get it in. So you have basically your Willy Wonka systems globally. Let me explain. This is not just the United States. United States is ground zero of consciousness. Let me give a big up to everybody who's from the United States in this piece. You have all eyes on you, galactically, interdimensionally, interterrestrially, and celestially. You have all eyes on you. That is why the biggest and the most qualified attack has to be secretive, because the amount of consciousness emanating from ground zero in the United States is so high that they gotta hide you. They can't come for you like they did in Australia. They can't come for you like they did in Africa. They certainly can't come for you like they're doing in Canada, because you're qualified. Many of the highest conscious beings were birthed into this ground zero. And if they weren't birthed here, they were initiated by families coming in here to be able to keep that going. Okay? So right now, you have Willy Wonka working hard. And let me explain something, y'all. We've been lied to. What you're seeing in the sky right now, let me show you. Because I can't do it on my screen. If we were on Zoom, I gotta find a way to do my Zoom. On here, hold on. Let me give a big up to my Zombies in the house. Big up to our new Zombies, Indigo Goddess, Dead Mache. We have Ogon. We have some amazing new sisters that have joined us. I want to say a big up to y'all. I'm grateful to have been, with the Scorpio new moon, full moon eclipse, it just brought in some powerful women into our lives. Let me show you, y'all, because I want to. Hope I can show you this. Hold on. Put a like on the video if you're up for the shenanigans. Come on. Hello, hello. Here we go. Can I get closer? Okay, there we go. Do you see that, y'all? Do you see that? Okay. What does that say? Do you know that you've been given all the information, right? You do know that, right? Whether you have accepted it, whether you acknowledged it, you've been given all of the information. What you're seeing in the sky right now, literally, that red sun, that isn't a sun, y'all, that's Betelgeuse. 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 That's Betelgeuse. Betelgeuse is a really big star. It's a huge supernova. It is the red star that is about to explode. Now, do know we're living in a holographic dome, okay? That is literally part of the expression that happens every time we're about to do a reset. And at the time that reset happens, that so-called red star, it explodes and it sends out basically light codes to those who are qualified to be initiated into the higher order. It's about to go supernova, but it has done this before. That's why the dark ones are working overtime to get you into these smart cities. Anything that they do at this point until August 12th, write that date down. If you don't remember anything else, write the date August 12th down now. Put it on paper. Don't put it on your phone. Call people. August 12th is going to be something that is being part of what Willy Wonka isn't going to have you experience. Now, there was a sun star, though I can't qualify this man because I think that he's also working for the government, the Willy Wonka. Okay? Let me take a sip because I'm getting really excited. You know when you put lip gloss on, it gets like this weird, funky kind of, sorry, y'all. I use this really wonderful Korean like lip, it's like a lip oil. I really like it. Because I don't trust buying anything in the United States because everything has graphene in it. Everything has poison. Everything in the United States, if you're buying it, eating it, putting it on your skin, has been poisoned. Because you, my loves, you sea stars and sun stars are what they fear the most. That's why. They are afraid of us because they know what is coming. But you don't know what's coming. Only people like qualified occultists that people are afraid of, like Panic, knew what was coming. Others know what's coming. These lifers that make grilled cheese sandwiches on the back of toilet seats because they have to make this the bomb.com. They know what's coming. China, who is China, the one that you watch take her butt out of her breasts out? Kim Kardashian, the whole of mass destruction. She knows what's coming. That's why she's taking all her fake parts out of her body. Y'all thought it was just a trend. You didn't realize why, what's her name, China and Kim Kardashian, did you realize they were friends? They were girlfriends at one time? You don't realize that they knew something that was coming at this time? They're taking all their fake parts out. Look at a lot of your YouTubers. Why are they taking their breast implants out? Why are they taking out their fake butts? Why are they trying to get all their fillers out? Because they know what's coming. I'm going to stop yelling. It's very disrespectful. I'm sorry. I don't mean to yell at you. Put a like on the video if you're up for the shenanigans. I apologize. Family, World War III is about to be initiated. It's fake as all anything. They all work for the same tier. Russia and China work for the same people. They all have the same agenda. Please refrain from thinking that everyone is working against each other. They all are in the same alignment. They know this. They are lifetime loopers, and they know the events that are coming for reset. This is all being initiated because when specific events happen, certain beings here, not everyone, their DNA will be fixed, retrieved, expanded. They know this. And let me explain, everyone. I know that you think that everyone's lost their mind. You're seeing all the Satanists, like Satan was in Boston having a big conference. You're seeing all these Satanists come out and do all kinds of occult rituals with children, the kidnapping of children. Let me explain something. There isn't anything new here. They've always done this. The difference is they aren't hiding it because we're at the end of the cycle. There isn't any need to hide it because everything is about to end for everyone in the way that you initially thought that your existence was here. There isn't anything new under the sun. And that's not a sun, y'all. That's a hole in the roof of the firmament that's illuminating a light. And we're going through a timer. It's phasing time. So back when it's a color spectrum. So back when some of us remember the sun being yellow and now it's white, it's because now the timer is running down. And that sun, which is not a sun, it's a hole in the firmament. I've confirmed it. That is literally counting down. It's a timer. It's like some sort of calendar or initiator. That's not Planet X, y'all, in the sky. That's Betelgeuse. It was always Betelgeuse. Remember some of us who used to take pictures of the sun and we say, oh, because some of us who've known, I think some of you have known me for a long time. Remember I was taking pictures and there was a little tiny, small little dot and we said that was the second sun. And then others said it was Nibiru. Some said it was, the Planet X. That wasn't it. That was Betelgeuse. And you've been initiated with this information. Do you know why you see McDonald's with the yellow and the red? Watch the movie Beetlejuice from a certain perspective, from a certain consciousness. If you remember the couple in the movie, big up to all the Zombies. We did this on Zoom the other night. If you watch Beetlejuice, because remember, everything's symbolic. The couple was their house was being, they were being solicited for the house to be sold. The house is your temple, right? Your dome. This is your house, your dome. And they refused. They weren't going to sell that, right? And then the dog showed up, a dog from the person who was trying to initiate for them to sell their house, right? The realtor sent out her dog and her dog star, which is the dog star in the sky, this constellation. The dog got in front of the car, and there was a red bridge, a red barn-looking bridge. They were crossing, and they were driving a yellow car. And the dog stopped in front of them, and they drove through the red barn bridge and fell into the plasma, the water. Okay? There was another movie with Martin Lawrence where he was on a red bridge and they were wearing yellow on top of the bridge and they were going to go over into the water, the plasma. Okay, why do I share this? Because we're going to talk about what's occurring and all of the things that are being coded, that if you're in a certain alignment or wisdom bearing, and I don't have to go any further, I'm going to have you do the work, because you have to qualify yourself to be able to know what I meant with sharing that with you. Because once you're qualified and you're being initiated to higher consciousness and awareness, you'll understand why that was the most important thing you need to know before reset. Okay? So let's go back to Willy Wonka and his agendas. Literally, what's occurring now is that they are going to C-U-L-L, cull you, lure you into these fake smart cities. Remember, y'all, we remember in the beginning of Kukarachi, and we saw in Wuhan outside, we were seeing these smart cities that were empty. Remember, do some of you remember that? Do you remember when we were seeing smart cities and we were like, why are they empty? We didn't have a clue. We knew, like, why would the Xinhua have cities that are brand new, like just basically sitting there without anyone in it? Because the plan was to get people in it eventually. Do you see all of the Walmarts that are closing? Some of you have Walmarts that are all closed in Seattle, Washington. Why are the Walmarts closing? Dark Knight, thank you. That's the movie Dark Knight. Do you see all the Walmarts closing? Why are they putting Satanist clothing with children, with all kinds of clothing with children and transsexualism and initiating children into sexual deviancy? You do know that that's a setup, right? For years, they've been depreciating your frequency by exposing you and our children to sexual, deplorable acts with adults. And they've been initiating low frequency music, trap music. They told you what it is. See, this is the issue. I tell everyone, the music was called trap music for a reason. It was meant to encapsulate your higher frequency and lower it to make it a vibration that wasn't a match to what's coming in right now, y'all. All of this Nas X putting blood in the sneakers, 666, twerking on the devil, tonguing down men, all of that is an initiated into the dark orders that are unable to leave here. You are basically being influenced, cultivated, culled by an order of lifetime loopers. Some of you call them clones. It doesn't matter. These beings are unable to leave, and they certainly aren't going to let you leave on their watch. They've watched you leave lifetime after lifetime, every reset, and they want to make sure that they have their resources, their cattle, their food source here. So after the reset and they start this mofo again with the Rockefellers, it's going to be a different name, Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and whatever fake names. Those aren't the real names, y'all. Those are the bait and switch names that they like to initiate into for you. So you keep putting your energy and darkness on these beings. That's not their names. We heard some of the names who are living up in Texas that are part of the dark orders. That's why Texas, you have so many child traffickers. The Amber Alert wasn't meant to alert you to children taken. It was basically telling them what food was coming to the Satanists that need those children for food, fodder, resources, and for re-establishing mud-flood children or incubated children for the next reset. That's a food source. The Amber Alert wasn't to alert you of children to find them. That's why many times when you get the Amber Alert, you never see the cars. You never see where they come, because that's a lie. The Amber Alerts are to alert the others who are waiting for their resources for those children. And I'm so sorry I have to tell you this. Protect our children, everyone in here. They have holes opening up on people's lawns of these holes that are going in. Parents are looking for their children that have gone away. Parents, if anything ever happens to your children, look on your property. They have holes that open up like trap doors, and people are going to look for children away from the places. No, the children are inside the holes that are underneath most establishments here. You heard about the Satanist stories about churches and elementary schools and nurseries that had literally tunnels underneath those places where they would bring them to rituals and then bring the children back during the day. Mothers, fathers, watch your children when they go into bathrooms. They are literally snatching children as they go to the bathroom because they've allowed this transsexualism to allow for grown men to be able to have access to women's places where women take children in the bathroom. Remember, we were always safer. We felt safe because we had women, even male children, were brought into the female bathroom to protect them. But no, what they did is they allowed access for these beings to come on in, because normally you wouldn't let a 6.5 looking man, he-man, come in the bathroom with your children. So now they created laws and legislations to allow these transgressors, these transformers, to come into the bathroom to have access to you and yours. We just saw a video of a story of a mother who allowed her daughters to go in the bathroom. One went in 10 years old, the other one was going to the bathroom. You had one of these transformers underneath the stall, grab the little girl, shave her head off in 30 seconds, and changing her clothes into man's clothes. Big up to the mother who kicked down that door. That woman should be happy, that being should be happy they are even living. Watch your offspring. Stop getting high and dropping it like it's hot. It's reset, y'all. They're looking for resources to bring under the grounds. It's over. These children are going to be used for either food, fuel, or for using them for hybrids, so that when reset is over and these mofos can come from back underneath the ground, because they're going to be under the ground for a long time. Watch the movie I love this movie. Time Travelers. Thank you, Maria. Watch the movie Time Travelers. When you see these beings underneath the ground, they have no color, they're pale because they don't have vitamin C. They live in, they can't come up to the surface, so they send these monsters up to feed on the melanated people on the surface. That's a weird kind of movie. Kind of like hairy looking, weird kind of monster kind of creatures coming up and eating the people, getting them for food source. Okay? These beings have already set it up. Listen, the people who matter the most, they aren't here anymore. They've already gone to their safe places. They wouldn't want all kinds of metals coming off on them, all these chemtrails with barium, aluminum, all kinds of graphene. The graphene literally is a sentient type of technology, nanotechnology, that self-assembles with a high alkalinity in the body, with blue field on your computers and your phones. It helps to replicate it. And all these towers around emitting these frequencies, you call them 5G, it isn't that, it's a frequency that helps to initiate and let these nanofibers, which are nanobots, to replicate themselves and basically try to hijack the human body. Okay? There isn't anybody who's free from that. If you're living anywhere under the firmament where you have basically all these fake drone, non-piloted, planes going above, they're spraying down this fiber. Now, it isn't only to spray down graphene on the people. It's basically to keep the solidification of the holographic false reality up in the sky. Those are not lights, y'all. Those aren't stars. Those are lights on the firmament. It's on a timer. We're living in a holographic AI system that does the cylindrical pattern. This is a prison. Whether you came here by choice, whether you came here because you were sent here because you were against the establishment in these other worlds, everybody in this piece is in a prison system. And there are certain kind of beings in here that are in people's bodies like jump rooms. Some people's bodies are being used as jump rooms to experience the disgusting physicality of human form. A jump room is someone who's basically doesn't have really a soul encased, and their body is being used for deities to come in here and jump in that body to experience drinking, sex, drugs, and murder. This isn't a place that you are to stay. And let me explain something. The reason why it's so uncomfortable down here is because in order for you to want to leave here, the reason why certain people experience the most is because there are a higher tier that are basically coming up for parole. Did you see Dungeons and Dragons? It's a parole time where your soul is going to be weighed against a feather. Have you initiated yourself into higher order? Are you still holding grudges? Are you still hurting people? Are you hurting yourself? Are you lacking love? Are you lacking initiative to gain a wisdom of who and what you are and the things that you need to have in order to be extracted out of here? That's why they don't give you the laws of Ma'at. They give you only the 10 commandments, because they aren't trying to let you know that you need much more than just 10 things to try to raise your frequency and get out of here. And humans have hue. Light frequency, light codes are initiated in certain beings. That's why you see a lot of melanated people with coiled hair be the most abused in here, because they pick up the light codes. Remember, dark skin, dark matter pulls in light. So that's why you see brown people being so heinously judged and suppressed and marginalized. It's purposefully done in this piece, because if you were really a qualified being, you would be able to overcome even with adversity, because you would have gained the wisdom and the frequency to raise above all of the rim. You take in light codes. The darker the skin, the more you take in more light codes. That's why they abuse people who are very, very dark skinned, because they take in more of the light codes. And when Betelgeuse comes in and implodes, those people with that really cosmic dark skin, I'm talking about dark skin, like cosmic dark skin, that's why they're so abused. But it's crazy, because just as they're abused on most places, the people in the modeling industry, you ever see the models that have this really dark skin, look very cosmic? Why is it that they take them into their order? Why do you see celebrities really renting? I don't call it adopting, renting very dark-skinned children from Africa, because they're hacking their codes. They're renting these children, and they aren't getting them from the United States, because remember, a lot of brown people here have a lot of mixture. They have a lot of things. They have European in them, Asian in them. They want to get the qualified melanin that takes in all the light codes. It's hacking the light codes. Black rock, that's why they mention it. That's why black is considered negative. And actually, it's the opposite. Because remember, when you magnified something that's highly melanated, something that's very dark, takes in all light. Remember, darkness, the reason why it looks dark is because it's pulling in all light, all spectrums of light. So the darker of something, the more light that comes into it. So really, light beings would be very, very dark, because they're pulling in all the light codes. So how we perceive them would be dark. But really in itself, we perceive them dark because they're taking in all the light. That is a bait and switch. So let me talk to the brown people in here. If you've been nullified, vilified, marginalized, talked about like a dirty dog, like you're violent, disgusting, you're a criminal, that's been purposefully done, because on the higher orders, they worship dark lords. The Satanists of the highest order, the GG, the 33, they worship dark lords. Because that matters. They know that. You may not. You've been basically baited and switched. Everything, the black cat, why do you demonize the black cat? Why is everything black negative? It's purposefully done. It's been a part of changing the way that you perceive things, so that you won't allow an acknowledgement to those who have the ability to transcend this particular prison system. It's parole time, y'all. Betelgeuse is judging you. Betelgeuse is coming here, and it's going to basically weigh your qualified frequency. Have you allowed others to be hurt? Have you gone around hurting people? Have you gone around initiating pain and not thinking about it? Have you judged others for looking a certain way? That is all part of your karmic debt. That is your prison sentence. The reason why all of us are here, most people are here, is because they've qualified themselves to be in this maniac, sociopathic, narcissist, a crazy house because of the things that you've allowed in your mind and the way that you've allowed others to be treated. This is your prison sentence. And it is now that you will all of us will be judged with our hearts. And no, you can't just fix it overnight. You should have worked on this. A true conscious being would have known this a long time ago. Even if they didn't know the qualified or quantified language, or even be able to decipher or say it or be able to convey it, you would have known it wasn't right. You would have seen that black little girl, and I say black, you would have seen that little cosmic little girl being judged badly, and you would have known that was wrong. You would have protected her, whether you were lunar, whether you were Asian. You wouldn't have allowed her to be treated that way. You wouldn't have allowed someone to be pulled over for the complexion of their skin and not speak on it and not initiate or participate in things that would marginalize someone just for looking like the qualified, quantified melanite that takes in light codes. Why did you judge them? And other brown people who hate themselves, who hate the way they look, you are also on trial. You also who hate yourself, who call other beautiful brown people nasty things, even if they haven't qualified to be a person who's done dark things, why is it that women who are of a certain age, who are brown skin, why are they considered to be the big mamas who protect lunar children, Asian children, Indian children? Why are they the sweetest, kindest ones, but are always talked about nasty? Why are big mamas called names and initiated into forms of marginalization? You don't think that's by chance? Everybody's on trial right now. And if you are up for parole, your deeds in your mind and in your spirit and in your body will be judged. Big Mama has always been on the higher quantum field. And she's been down here expressing that light code so that others would be initiated into a conscious state of awareness. If Jesus came, she certainly doesn't look like anything that many of you would ever judge nicely. That's why women are the most suppressed, most marginalized, most abused. It's purposefully done. How wonderful is that? To make the very thing that would initiate you into higher orders of consciousness, the very thing that the Matrix vilifies the most. What a wonderful bait and switch. Did you know that China is training little African children? There are beings that are Chinese going into Africa, training little African children to say terms in Chinese, calling themselves monkeys, animals, beasts, and saying they're monsters. They're literally Chinese in Africa right now that are being invited into Africa, and they're the little children's villages who the little children think that they're saying happy things in Chinese are being taught Chinese words that call them animals, monkeys, beasts, and monsters. Wow. And you wonder why China eats everything, rats, dogs. What kind of consciousness would do that? Welcome to Beetlejuice, y'all. How masterful that everything in here has basically tested your judgment. That's why I had to say sorry to Panic. Because even I had judged a being for looking, sounding a certain way. And when I heard that man's journey, I cried. Because I judged him based on the uniform, marginalized thoughts and things that are taught to us from children. Because everything in here will teach you things, but it's for you to have an inner awareness. Use your inner your initiation into your consciousness to be able to see past the lies. I had to say sorry to a man that I judged. When I heard that man's journey, I totally did a 360. Y'all, it is absolutely the most amazing time and the most masterful time right now, but we are all going to deal with some craziness that's about to come, and we are on the heels of initiation or depreciation into reset. So check on it, put a like on the video if you have the shenanigans, y'all. It is literally, listen, there isn't anybody here. Let me explain something. When I talk to you, I'm talking to myself. We have all been basically catfished up in this piece, okay? Everything we've been taught has been literally a lie because you're being cultivated by Satanists, lifetime loopers who have taken over the prison system. And everything we've been taught has been taught by these bastards who aren't able to leave. They aren't able to leave, y'all. So they're teaching you and cultivating you. And basically, you know how a man, a man kind of like if he's molesting a child, he, what is it called? He's cultivate. What is it called? You know when they what is it like they it's grooming. Thank you, my love. Thank you, alchemist. He's grooming. We've been groomed by lifers, y'all. All of us. Listen, when I talk to you, I'm talking to myself. We're all been groomed by these Satanists. They've all told us if we're a woman, we're just to be maids and slaves to a male form or a male ideology. It has nothing to do with sex, because really at the top and the lowest, it has nothing to do with that. But we've basically been cultivated by Satanists, by low form initiators into the order, only because they're lifetime loopers. They've hacked the system. They know what happens. So they basically are getting you ready. So if you listen to trap music, they're encapsulating your soul essence. If you as a woman have hated yourself, phenotype, if you've changed your nose, your boobies, your butt, if you've been wearing makeup and masturbatorial, you are actually being cultivated by those who tell you that being those things, natural, being healthy, is unhealthy, isn't enough. Oh my God. Telling you that your hair is nappy. Why would they tell you hair that's coiled is a nap? Nap is, first of all, nappy is like for poop in England because they call their diapers nappies. But why would they say that your hair is tired when it's actually kinetic? Why do you think the Jewish men who are Hasidic in Orthodoxy make a coil in their hair? So they tell you that your hair is disgusting. I'm talking to you brown people because, you have men talking about women so disparagingly and women taking in this form of self-hatred. But do you know that there is beings who are connected to the Malachians who are making coils in their hair so they can pick up the frequencies and the light codes? They told you to get rid of your antennas and straighten them and relax them. Meanwhile, they're basically hijacking who and what you are. That's why when you go in the sun, lunar, brown, when you go in the sun, you feel better. You're not as hungry. You don't want to take in the graphene food. That's why people who are wealthier know these hacks. They know it. Do you ever go to like a wealthy party on a yacht? They're wearing white. They deflect all other energy being taken towards them. They're using fabrics like linen to wear because it's higher frequency, and they're taking in the sun. So even if they're fair skinned, they're taking in the light coats and they're getting darker skin. So the more light coats they get, the darker their skin gets. Why do they tan and you brown people hate yourself? That's crazy. What a wonderful mastery that these occultists have done to basically turn everything upside down. We're living in an inverted system that is ran by prisoners that are on the run. They run this joint. They have taught you everything about yourself, whether you're lunar, Asian, or they taught you everything opposite. Get ready, y'all. We about this life. I hope you're ready for the shenanigans. Put a like on the video because we're going to go in. So long as my computer stays on, I hope you're ready for it. Y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Up in here, remember DMX? Up in here, y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Up in here. He is such a crime. Ooh. Big up to you alphas. Yo, gonna make me lose my mind. Then he's like, he was talking about the dog star. You don't know who DMX was? He was one of your initiators. That's the dog star. They made sure they sacrificed him right before this time. Right? Why do you think the Chinese are eating dogs? You don't think the dynasties know what that represents to the Western countries? Yo, gonna make me lose my mind. Up in here, up in here. Y'all, it's about those light codes. While they're telling you to deflect your light codes to bleach your skin, let me talk to the Africans up in here, because you are the biggest food source for Western countries. They eat you as loosh. I'm gonna keep it real, y'all. That's what I'm saying. This video may or may not stay up. I don't know. It might be all kinds of flags. They eat you. Africa is a breeding ground for resources for Western countries. That's why you found a ship full of melanated penises going to China. They eat you. That's why they keep it. Listen, Africa wasn't, I'm sorry, it's going to offend some of you. Most of Africa was not what you think it is. The real Africa is here in North America. You know that, right? The Olmec heads were here. The pyramids were here. This is where Africa was. When they talk about the highest form of beings that were living here, that's why in the Grand Canyon they found that mummy with the ankh, really carbon skin, black skin. They found that up in the canyon, up in California, up in what do you call it? The Grand Canyon. They tell you that Africa was the source of civilization. No, that is a food source for Western countries. That's why African presidents or whoever is running that, the Dark Lords, they don't care about their people because that's food. They make contracts to use them as guinea pigs for all kinds of viruses, so that when they test on those groups of people, they can bring it over to the gods and goddesses that exist here in the Americas and in other countries. That's why they make fun of the boogity boogity boo, boogity boo. They do all that because they know that that's a food source. Now, I'm not talking, Africa is like 50-something countries, y'all. But they use African DNA as a way to upkeep and maintain their existence. We're living with ghosts and goblins, y'all. These are dead people. They aren't able to expand outside of the firmament. They're dead. They look dead. That's why when certain African people saw them, they said, oh, you look like a ghost. They're dead. They haven't made any ability to take in light codes. That's why melanin is used, and it is more expensive than gold on the black market. If you want to check it out, y'all, look, because some people be like, oh my God, Flurboon, you're being really racist. No, go look. Don't ever take anything I say. Why is melanin higher than gold in cost on the black market if what I'm saying is a lie? Where are they getting all this melanin? Where are all those Haitian babies? Why do you have women going from Wisconsin going and getting 20, 30 Haitian babies? What is she planning to do with those brown children? Because people don't like brown people. What are you doing with brown people up in Utah? What, you gonna play patty cake with them? You gonna make them love themselves? It doesn't sound like that. It sounds like harvesting to me. Because if you're really trying to help a people, wouldn't you help them from the place that they come from? Wouldn't you make it safer? Where'd all that money go? During the hurricane, they built like 3 houses. It was like $1 trillion. Where'd all the money go that went to Haiti? You don't think it's by chance that Haitians are mistreated so badly, and they had the highest quality of melanin, and they were the only ones who won against these colonizing bastards? And were told after they won the war to free themselves from enslavement and rape that they have to pay back France? France, you're disgusting. I come from a French culture. You're disgusting. Having a people pay after they won a war against you, disgusting, dark, disgusting beings. And you make them pay restitution for losing things when they came and abused a group of people. It's so sick. And you think, listen, y'all say save Ukraine. How come nobody's saying save Haiti? You know why you don't say save Haiti? I'm going to keep it real, y'all. It's going to be offensive. Can I keep it real with y'all? You know why you don't want to save the Haitians? You know why you don't ever say put Haitian colors on your FB pages? Because they're black. They're cosmic black. Everybody hates blackness. Even black people hate blackness. That's a perfect bait and switch to make a people who take in the most like codes hate themselves and have everybody worldwide hate them too. It's so disgusting, right? What I'm saying, you're like, oh my God, Fleur Brown, what are you saying? I don't see color. Yes, you do. Everybody sees color. If you didn't see color, you wouldn't know I'm wearing white. If you didn't see color, you wouldn't try to match your shoes with your shirt. Stop it already. That's a social engineering mechanism. That's like a bait and switch mechanism. Stop saying it. Everybody knows what that means. You saying it because you don't want to see the truth. We're going to have church in here tonight, and it won't be a baptism. It won't be a Jesus moment. It won't be Buddha's moment. It won't be Allah. The Orishas are not going to save you. No, nothing's going to save you. Satan ain't going to save you. It's you. We have been lied to, and it is all on us. Because inside of your core, if you really, really had a good, healthy, light heart that could be weighed against a feather, you couldn't have ever hated anyone who looked any which way. You couldn't have hated someone for being pale, fat, skinny, big, small, deformed. You wouldn't have hated anyone. So it's all on you. No, if you don't see color, that's a lie. That is absolutely a lie. That's a default. That's a socially engineered default system that lunars use, and it's all lunars who say it. Brown people don't say that. Asians don't say that. Indians don't say that. Only lunars say that. That's a fact. And please don't be in denial. I'm hitting your shadow right now. We got to work with our shadows. We got issues. I got issues all day. Many of you get to see it online because I don't put filters on here. That's a default statement that only lunars say, and they've been trained and socially engineered to say it, to deflect and also to deny and take little responsibility for the socially engineered construct of vilifying blackness up in this piece. Stop it already. When you show that, you show your lack of consciousness. You don't know what that is. I'm telling you what it is. If it wasn't a construct of social engineering, everybody would say it. Only lunars say that. That's a fact. And my lunar girlfriends know that. They say it, that it's a social construct. When you have a problem and you default to saying that, it's because you know that the social construct vilifies a complexion of people that's darker. But they're darker and they take in more light codes. Stop it. Stop it. We are all victims of our own denial. Listen, I said, we are all victims of our own denial. I check you not from a place of hate. I check you from a place of giving you some codes right now. Because mostly they want to keep us all separated because they don't want us to have this conversation. Because normally we have platforms where it's only lunars, it's only brown people, but Fleur Brown is bringing all of us together in this house. You got lunars in here, you got Asians in here, you got people from India in here, you got Latinas in here, you got darker skinned people, lighter skinned people. I'm bringing it all together. Because the problem is to keep us separated because they don't want lunars to know the qualified, quantified things that they aren't getting because they are ignoring or they aren't injected into brownness. Everybody has to collectively get this information because whether you come out of this firmament or not, you're gonna be recycled in this matrix if you aren't leaving it after your parole office. Beetlejuice comes for you. That's why they have Beetlejuice. Do you know Beetlejuice? Remember where they went when they died? They went into the room, the waiting room. Remember, people had more numbers in the waiting room of Beetlejuice. I want everybody to watch Beetlejuice right now. They were in the waiting room. That's a judgment place, waiting for their number to be called. Beetlejuice is a judge. Is a judge. That's literally who's going to give us parole. Either we're going to level up or we're going to be recycled back into this matrix. Okay? So get out of your feelings, y'all. I come from all different backgrounds. I speak a language that's European.
I was initiated into the European order by speaking a European language, so don't get in your feelings. What I'm about to share with you is why Willy Wonka gets my channel the most smoke out of everybody, and I have the least amount of people on my channel. Put a like on this video if you up for the shenanigans today, y'all. It's on and popping. Oh. And brown people, I gotta tell you, you need to stop judging them lunars. Why I tell you that is because the reason why certain people who have a certain hue are given more codes, certain, like, I'm talking about like transcribed codes. Remember, you as a brown person get more light codes in your body. You take it in biospherically. Lunars are initiated into getting it like on paper. Okay, it's like someone who is a dancer by nature, like who can just naturally initially has an innate ability to dance. They're able to catch the beat, and then there's those who are trained to catch the beat. You got to be careful with that because all of us have different codes, and why they separated everyone is so that the other doesn't know and isn't able to bring in the two. That's why you see the yin and yang is white and black. That's why you see the Masons use the black and white board, checkerboard, because you need both in this piece. So that's why you shouldn't be offended, lunar, and you shouldn't be offended, brown person, because they need both of you. And if both of you come together and stop judging a person for being brown, because if you overstand as a lunar that in this particular spectrum of prison system, that complexion matters only because certain people take in light codes that gives them a certain initiation to a certain awareness. And because they keep you deviated from each other or, kind of away from each other, it disallows for the other to get the other piece of the puzzle. It's masterful. That's why the occultists work with the checkerboards, and y'all are too busy being xenophobic on the other side, judging each other. Oh, I don't like those nappy-headed niggas. Excuse my language. I don't like those nappy-headed niggas. They're low class. That's untrue. I don't like those white crackers. That's what they said, white crackers. I don't like them. That's untrue, because in the higher orders, who are they talking? They're worshiping dark lords. They're all doing that. So while you sitting here judging Blackie for being black and you must know, if you're even an occultist, the reason why those people are being marginalized is because they have codes they don't want you to know. Hold on, let me behave myself. I'm getting hot in here tonight. Hey, baby. I'm preaching. Yo, gonna make me lose my mind up in here. Okay. All right. Let me chill out, y'all. All right, can I get into the information? I'm really, you have to judge deeds not by color. But color matters. This, please, who is Scotty Boy? Scotty Boy, it is by deeds, but you got it, because you have to know you have to know in this realm that the hues have colors. Every color has a frequency. If you work with music or even in technology, you know that color has frequency. So yes, you must judge a being by color and frequency. So if a lunar is, I don't know, how do we judge? If a lunar is, toting, spitting, tobacco, I don't know, whatever judgment you have, I would judge them based on their hue, their frequency, because hue represents frequency, and their behavior. So I would put both together. And then when I meet a lunar who's in like a blue collar shirt, not a blue collar, like a corporate looking, very kind, wealthy, maybe, but really conscious, I would judge that complexion, that hue, along with what there's displaying. So color does matter. Whoever says that, I already know you're under mind control. Listen, we've all been there, but I'm just saying you're under mind control. Whoever says color doesn't matter, I already know that there's certain conversations they're already capped consciously, and we may not even know if they're even real. They could literally be a holographic person. So sometimes it's better not to fight with people or to, hey Cookie, it's better not to fight with people or get into conversations, because at the end of the day, if you start getting in conversations with them, you're gonna put yourself in a box. Because they may not even be real. They might be part of the hologram. They might be a NPC. Okay, hold on.
Okay. All right. So can we move on next, y'all? Can we get out of the color thing? Can we just accept that brown people take in more light codes and lunars have more tangible information? Now, they may both have some, but I'm just saying, I just want to give you that. And if any of you who are deep into metaphysics, you can just vet it out. Okay? Let's get into what Willy Wonka's doing, okay? Because remember, at the top, it's Dark Lords doing this, okay? So when people think of whiteness as being whiteness or lunarness as being head, no, the Dark Lords rule this, okay? That's why you have people called the Moors, okay? So at the top of this piece, the ones that the Satanists are worshiping, they're Dark Lords. They have melanin. I'm just letting you know. So when you hate white people, do know that they worship blackness. And if you hate blackness, lunars, do know that the others who were in a cult worship blackness. I'm just saying, it's all kind of screwed up. It's all bait and switch. I'm just saying, I'm the only one who's going to share this with you like this, because I haven't worked I'm not working for the CIA. I'm not working for the FBI. I'm not under the order of patriarchy. I'm speaking to you 1000% true. So brownness and lunars, you're going to have to get it together. And those who are mixed with the both, you got to get it. Okay, so let's go into it. Oh, hold on. Cookie. Okay. I can see you in the back there. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to shift it. Okay, sorry, y'all. Got my little ones in here. Try to keep them at bay. Okay. All right, so let's get into it, y'all. Let's talk about what's going on with Willy Wonka. I had to share that with you because you have to understand what's going to happen. And I had to share with you a lot of the coding of things that are purposefully done to make it very difficult for you to know how to move forward or upward or downward during this reset. The Cthulhu is here, y'all. Does anyone know what the Cthulhu is? And I'm not just telling you a fabrication of something. I'm telling you what I witnessed myself. I saw the Cthulhu in the sky. The Cthulhu only comes when it is the end. It literally is the initiation of the clear up, the cleanup. The Cthulhu is here. I saw it in the sky. It's huge. It's over North America. And that's how I know North America is the first on the chopping block as far as being reset. The Cthulhu is like an octopus. Remember we were talking about the Hydra? And I talked about being in contact with the arachnid queen. It's all connected to the Cthulhu. Because remember, as above, so below. Remember the Cthulhu, even though it represents an octopus, right? 8. The spider is also the physical, the land Cthulhu. So the arachnid is a land Cthulhu, and the Cthulhu in itself is the Kraken. Many of you know about the Kraken. Okay? The Kraken. Remember the Kraken, like Ursula. Anyone saw, let me just say, I did take my children to see The Little Mermaid. I will say this, even though it was coded with a lot of things, it was absolutely a phenomenal movie. And they're letting you know who's being initiated into the higher order. Just like Queen Charlotte, which is disgusting. I would prefer you stay away from Queen Charlotte because it is literally riddled with social engineered agendas. Every time, even though they give you a so-called black queen, the melanated queen, she's associated with, the only reason she's made a queen is because she's married to a maniac, right? And every time she tries to initiate extending her blood lineage, she's basically being showed along with 2 loner male that are having sex simultaneously a lot of times. And the one beautiful melanated woman who's basically wearing the Oshun colors when she's initiated in, absolutely beautiful. She has the most melanin. She is the one who lives the most depraved life with the most lowest form and most unattractive form of Africanism connected to her, which is Sierra Leone, which they make the most unattractive, old, decrepit type of male. And every time she's being initiated into engaging physiologically with this being, she's looking up at the stars, right? While he's raping her, and she isn't taking it in with want or free will. And then when he dies,
which is a concept of Africa dying, but her carrying the lineage of his children. The only way that she has any uniform of connectivity to a male, it has to be a lunar male who is connected to a lunar female who's married. It's a very dark, I don't know, I would tell you, I wouldn't even watch. I'm giving you the gist of Queen Charlotte. If anybody has a better take, it's very disgusting. So I'm just saying, they're telling you with the Kraken, with Little Mermaid. Also, they have a movie that's cartoon called The Elements, and they talk about the Kraken and the mermaid and their battle for supremacy. They're coming from remember, they're coming from what? The plasma. The Kraken and the mer are all in the plasma. Now the Kraken is showing up. And now the mermaid is being illuminated. It's all from the plasma. It's basically connecting everything to the waterways, as above, so below. The waterways above and the waterways below. There's water above the dome and there's water below the dome. So there's water in both. There's plasma in both. Remember I told you plasma in, plasma out. So there's a movie called you regret watching? Yeah, it's meant to initiate some disgustingness and also it's made for you. Remember, whoever was on the top tier who ruled was the lunar man, and who was on the bottom is the brown woman. It's basically we're being flipped. Remember, we're living in an upside down world. So remember, pole shifting, poles. Who represents the north is the lunar man. Who represents the south is the melanated woman. Everything in between is like, it's just different hues. It's like the different gradients of gray. Okay, so at the top is a lunar man, at the bottom is the melanated woman. So when you go through a pole shift, there's a shifting of the poles, and the woman on top now is the melanated woman and the lunar man. So what happens is that because they know that that's happening, there's going to be an attachment to the lunar man and the melanated woman, because they're not going to let go of that tier. So they're going to try to just attach to what is going into high. That's why you're starting to see even a Little Mermaid. What is it? A black queen, a melanated queen, right? What do you see? You see Queen Charlotte. It's a melanated queen. I told you this years ago. You thought it was something I was making up. Now you're seeing it. And I'm not making it up. Why don't you look? Oh, you can see it. Sorry, y'all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. You can see that. Let me put this up. Here you go. There you go. Perfect. Okay. That's your. I'll keep my little ones out of there. Thank you for letting me know. Okay. Okay. So you're just seeing that. Now, why does this matter? Is because we're switching right now. We're switching. We're going into a reset. Now, with the reset, y'all, the Willy Wonka is already prepping. So I'm talking about the things that are happening as far as like the tying in those, because remember, we're going through a pole shift, so they're trying to tie in the one who has a new position on the top order. That's why you're seeing this. That's why some people get upset when they see this, the melanated queens being on top, because it means the end of the old order. And also for lunar men, they're being attacked by their own country. So lunar men have been held in a high esteem and high position, and because now we're going through pole shift, they're being attacked. That's why you got to be very careful, lunar men who are in here, because all the chinois, all of these people being let in the country, they have a poster of Target, and it's y'all. That's why the whole January 6th shenanigans, which basically was a setup by the cats in array, okay? That was all set up. That's why they made you an example. Like when they used to do the black bucks and beating them in front of the slaves in order to make the people behave, they're doing that with lunar men right now, making them examples by giving one of the men on January 6th 18 years. When have they ever given a lunar man 18 years? For going into a White House. Now, I'm not defending their actions, because I think all of it was also a false flag and initiated by the CIA. This is my opinion. But wouldn't did you ever see a lunar man who was initiating and establishing his alpha ship, defending his country or trying to represent his country, given 18 years? That is meant for all the other lunar people. They're going after you. Because remember, that's why I told you years ago, make sure you aren't, because I know lunars that don't get involved in that craziness. They're not judging brown people. They judge people based on, frequency. But they're doing that purposefully, because remember, this ground zero was basically taken over by colonization, Westerners. And they killed off all of the natives, and they took away the nationality of brown people that were actually natives here. They kind of switched them over, some to Africa. That's why they called some of the Africans that they brought into Africa that weren't from Africa, they called them mulattoes. Not that they were mixed, that's their gender, that's what they call them. And they moved them over to South America, South American brown people, they did that. So what happens now is that now, remember I said that as above, so below, as within, so without, everything is starting to come around. So they're hunting down lunars. And that's why they're vilifying lunar people right now, because we're going into reset. That's why I tell you, y'all, they don't have any loyalty. They don't have any loyalty. They'll put you up on a pedestal for a second, but they're quick to kick the pedestal from underneath your feet and hang you from it. From the same, you know what I mean? So you got to be careful taking positions of supremacy, because it's really just basically just to put you up there so they can hide in it, use you, and then throw you under the bus. So this man, one of the men, has been put under for 18 years. I think that's crazy, but I also think it's crazy that you have brown young men put in prison systems for 20 years for selling a bag of weed. So I'm saying everything is coming full circle. So, okay, so we got Cthulhu, y'all, here, which is meaning the clearing, and they have movies that are initiating you, telling you Cthulhu is here. Ursula represents Cthulhu. She has taken the Triton. Triton is the three. Triton is three, right? Triton, Ton. She's taken the Triton. She's basically stolen the mermaid's voice, which is the melanated woman. Remember, she tried to take that in? But who saves Little Mermaid, the little melanated mermaid? It is King Triton himself, which is a lunar man. They're trying to tie that in because the lunar man is being attacked. So he's trying to make you see him as a savior so that he doesn't get judged or tried for what he's done or allowed or initiated. Orcas are also attacking the ships. I mean, listen, once you start to see the Cthulhu, y'all, it's a wrap. And now that Betelgeuse is about to explode and basically put all that plasma out, that is waking up the codes. And whoever has the initiation and the complexion to take in the light codes, that's why they're trying to make sure they put you in smart cities before. Oh, he's Spanish? Oh, yes. Oh, my little one had something to tell me, y'all. The King Triton was Spanish this time. Did you hear his Spanish accent? Did you guys hear that? My little one had to. Do you know he was Spanish, right? King Triton. She just had to tell me he did have a Spanish accent, right? He did. So even though, and he had the Daughters of the Seven Seas. I did enjoy the movie. He did represent the Seven Seas. So you did see the Seven Seas sisters as the seven, the seven chakras or the different. Enjoy that conquistador. He was a conquistador. Yeah. Okay. And there's a reason why they keep showing the Spaniards with the brownness, like in with Black Panther. Remember, they brought Wakanda in again, and they brought the Spaniards, which is the connection to the Incans and the Mayans. Okay, and you do know that the ancient Mayans and Incans were very melanated, right? They had light coats. You do know that the natives that were actually from ancient Kemet were melanated, right? You do know that the Olmec heads that were in the ancient times of ancient Khmer, which is in Cambodia, they were melanated, right? So why do I share this with you? Is because complexions do matter. And big to our friend in Zoom who said, it isn't Black lives that matter, it's lives Black matter. It messes with your system. Lives Black matter. I remember he said to say that, lives Black matter. It's very interesting. Yeah. I remember BLM is initiated. I think the initiation was created by these brown men that were all murdered. You do know that, right? All the men that were actually, that were the initiators or the creators of BLM, they were all murdered. Some were hung. Some of people don't know that. And the lesbian women that took over, that's all part of the CIA. Okay. That's why she had a mansion. She took all that money. Okay. She didn't even like brown men. She don't like men at all. Did you see the woman? I think it was Candace Owens who, remember, she crashed the party, the mansion party with BLM, and then she saw this a lesbian one. She didn't like. So why do you have lesbian women that weren't the initiators heading it, taking in the money, and basically using it because they don't like black men? It's crazy. I'm just saying. Uh, I thought it was crazy. Lives black matter. It's crazy. That's what I'm saying. We're all being catfish, y'all. It's crazy. I mean, you'll see BLM and then people say, "Oh, I hate Black Lives Matter," and meanwhile, it's already been ended. It was ended with the men that were assassinated and then taken over. They do it all the time. They basically take over something like hip hop. Hip hop initially was creative and initiated with higher order frequencies because the language was literally a created language. Like what one calls ebonics, like us in the Caribbean, we call it patois. We'll take languages. That's how you know. That's what melanin does. Melanin initiates rhythmic languages. It actually creates languages. So that's why you see people with high amount of melanin creating their own languages. It's part of melanin. Melanin is very transformative. It's very unique. It's alchemically creative. So that's why you see people of color create dances, they create music, they create different languages like patois, Creole, different forms of religions that they'll take. Like when they were told to worship the saints, they basically created Eurishas. That's all comes from melanin. Okay, they do that. Melanin is it's an alchemical thing. Okay, so they've taken over all forms of these creative orders. Like hip hop that was created is all now Satanism and based in homosexuality. Anything that was the rhythm and blues is all initiated with drug abuse and alcoholism. Anything that's shamanism, now you got shamans selling, selling all kinds of herbs, stealing it from the trees and herbs, and initiating people with ayahuasca. You know what I mean? Ayahuasca is coming from the plant kingdom, and you aren't to sell it. People have to qualify themselves to be initiated into the order of being able to see and being merged with the plants. If you are paying for it and a shaman is selling it, everybody's in violation. The ancestors are supposed to choose you. You don't choose them. Okay? So it's very important so it's very interesting that everyone's into the plant kingdom and mushrooms and everything, but they're being hijacked. And they're coming back with wormholes, bringing deities into this realm. Because remember, when you open up the third eye, the first eye, or this pineal gland, you have to close it up. So when you force that open with a plant that hasn't initiated you or chosen you, you're opening up a portal or a wormhole, and you aren't closing it. Because the beings who are initiating you into it are pirates of the herbs. Because the herbs wouldn't ever allow you to overharvest them, and they wouldn't allow just any being who wants to take a hit of ayahuasca or mushrooms to just be able to do so. You have to be chosen. So I just share this with you because all these people who are out here walking around with wormholes, letting all these kind of dark beings coming in, you're seeing all these weird things happening. You're seeing people like killing children, doing weird stuff because they got wormholes walking around. Basically, it's like fleas. They got fleas coming out the third eye, jumping out here, causing wreck. You know what I'm saying? People crashing cars and stuff like that because you've got people walking around, non-initiates, walking around with wormholes, with all kinds of things coming out them. They haven't closed it because the beings they are with are just basically pirates of their herbs. It's disgusting. So anyway, I'm out of control. So anyway, so anyone who's going to those ceremonies, please close your third eye because you're making it dirty out here. Close your wormholes, please. Remember your mama would say, close your legs, cross your legs, close your third eye. And if you can't close it, you need to put something on top of it so you aren't bleeding these entities out into this world, please. because y'all are just making it more dirty. It's already going to be crazy out here because all of the waterways are opening. You got Cthulhu here, who basically is the cleanup crew, but y'all are just spewing all kinds of things coming out your third eye. That's why when y'all go and do the initiation through the ayahuasca and all that stuff, you won't be invited to anywhere that I have, because you got stuff popping out you haven't closed it. It's like what happened in Haiti. They opened up that gateway and it never was closed. You feeding these entities and they get hungry. It's like feeding alligators every day. What do you think? You know the alligators aren't gonna be hungry after you're done? They did the deeds. Okay, that's why they got drugs everywhere. Now you got Canada legalizing drugs, cocaine. Remember, what's his name was like, cocaine is a hell of a drug. If you have to take drugs in order to access higher planes, I just judge your frequency. Because many of you know I haven't had to take any drugs or alcohol to ever have any initiation. You have to be qualified. People who are qualified don't even need to do drugs. Actually, the way that you initiate yourself and having access to the other orders outside are literally fasting. Stop eating and drinking, and literally things will. All the codes kind of express themselves easier because you aren't suppressing them and blocking them. You know, when you start taking drugs, like there are people who are qualified. I don't want to demonize people who are qualified. When I say qualified, it means the ancestors chose you. The plant kingdom actually gave you the invitation. So the plants have their own kingdom. They have an order. Mushrooms, all that stuff, the elementals, they have their own order. So when they initiate you, they call you to the plant. They initiate you. They're the ones who give you the elixir. They're the ones who offer you the ayahuasca. They're the ones who offer you the mushrooms. They actually send the invitations. It's like going to a house, and it's almost like you ever go to a concert and they got people selling bootleg tickets outside the garden, Madison Square Garden. So you didn't buy your tickets before time. You didn't qualify yourself. So you basically got bootleg tickets that are being sold. So when you get in there, you're like, your seats are real bootleg. You know what I'm saying? And then you may still get kicked out. That's how I see people who are being initiated into things that they aren't qualified for. So if the mushrooms have called you, because I know people who that's happened to, if the mushrooms have called you, there isn't any payment. They call you to the forest where they are. And a lot of the places where a lot of these mushrooms are, they're burning them. All these burning of forests and those are the herbs they're burning because they don't want you to be initiated. If you watch Black Panther and you realize that purple plant that initiated him into the other realm, right? He was qualified to engage with that plant. And the one who wasn't qualified, his entry into the other kingdom, that kingdom was more of a deficit. It wasn't higher in frequency. So like I was saying, all these forests that are being burned, all these places that are being destroyed, that literally is happening because they're getting rid of those actual plant kingdoms and so on. They killed my tree where I used to live. That's trying to hurt me. Plants invite you. Plants invite you. Everything is an invitation. Okay? All right, so let's get into the Cthulhu. The Cthulhu is here now because there's a cleanup, meaning that we're at the end of a cycle. Whenever you see Cthulhu, I saw it in the sky. It wasn't something somebody else told me. I saw the Cthulhu. Cthulhu is here for the cleanup, okay? Because Cthulhu is here for the cleanup, now you have everything being disseminated. Now let's talk about Willy Wonka's League of Doom. Now they have the Freedom Cities. Big up to the Zombie crew who we were on for like 24 hours. What was it, yesterday? Let me say, big up to the sea stars who really were about this life. Okay? Y'all really brought it in. Okay? I'm going to bring up the most important part at the end of this video because that's the one that may get me kicked off. So I'm trying to be really appropriate at this point. Okay? So let me bring up the fact that Willy Wonka has smart cities. All these Walmarts are closing because those are the distribution centers for the smart cities. They're not smart cities, y'all. They're concentration camps. And it doesn't matter how they spin it, flip it, rub it down. Literally, all of these so-called smart cities, freedom cities, that's what Trump called it. Freedom cities, these are concentration camps. Remember what they did to the Jews? The Jews, they went into the Jews' places and they said, y'all, we're going to relocate you. We're going to relocate you to somewhere that's more appropriate for you, right? And meanwhile, they put them in the gas chambers, right? Shaved off their hair, got rid of their locks, right? Got rid of their frequencies, because when they shave, that's why they're telling women all about hair, shave your hair off. You got Doja Cat, which has been initiated into the dark order. She's another whore of Satan. That's one of their Beelzebub homies. She's working for Beelzebub. Remember Beelzebub? Okay, and I also think that Beelzebub is literally like a kind of like a way of saying Beetlejuice. I think they made that, kind of tied that in, because it has a very similar kind of sound, right? So yeah, they're 15-minute, thank you, Jesse James, 15-minute prison centers, okay? They're gonna tell you it's wonderful. Remember they had these senators that they gave these satellite phones? Now, y'all, I want you to be a little, use your critical thinking. You think that if they wanted us to not know, we would know? You had all these fake intellis, and I'm going to call them fake because I think they're ran, whether they know it or not, they ran by the CIA. Why did they come out saying, oh my God, you have satellite phones, the 50 senators have satellite phones? You think that that was something that they didn't want you to hear out loud? Oh, and then they send them to these underground, they had to change their vacations for Memorial Day weekend, and they were all flown to secret locations and these underground facilities with Starbucks. I told you I'm a recovering Starbucks addict. All the junkies are going to be excited when they hear that there's Starbucks underneath the ground, because when they do the nuclear strikes, guess what? Y'all going to be thinking, oh, well, at least I can get my Starbucks, because we're all junkies, right? Let me introduce myself. I'm going to have to do my, my AAA. Hello, my name is Flurbrun, and I'm a recovering Starbucks addict. And hey, I'm here today. I'm recovering. I'm trying. Hopefully I don't fall off the wagon. I made this myself. I didn't buy this. I made it because I'm a junkie, and I like the siren symbol on the front because it connects me to the waterways, the plasma. So I'm sorry, I'm a junkie. At least I'm in it. I'm not lying to you. I'm a junkie. I just haven't drank it because I'm making my own. It doesn't taste quite like the drugs, but why I share this with you is because I find it very interesting that Willy Wonka and his League of Doom basically put that all on social media. You think if they didn't want you to know, you would know that? They put that out there purposefully. They wanted you to know that there's underground cities with malls, because some of you are addicts of shoppers. You're shopping, you would drop it like it's hot. They basically put that out there so that you would be excited when the nuclear strike hits and you're ushered into these freedom/concentration camps. Because they have Starbucks. And guess what they're going to put in Starbucks, y'all? Graphene, anybody? Graphene. Graphene. Anyone want some graphene? Oh, graphene. Graphene is just basically nanotechnology that basically creates, it's the alien invasion. If you're waiting for the alien invasion, all you have to do is drink Starbucks in the underground centers. Starbucks, anyone? Starbucks graphene, anyone? Would you like some graphene? Oh, let's drink it. Wait. My name is Flurbrun. I am a human. Graphene. Okay. Graphene is Graphene. Graphene. That is your alien invasion. If you were worried about alien invasion, we've already been invaded. Remember in what was it called? What was that movie called? I always told you to watch it. Remember the movie Body Snatchers? Do you remember the movie Body Snatchers, y'all? Remember it was coming from space? It looked like little things flying, right? Little fibers flying through space, right? And it looked like water. Now that you realize it's water, right? It looked like little jellyfish. They were flying, right? Little fibers, and then they landed on the plants, right? And then they started to create these little pods, right? Remember that? That's graphene, y'all. And we've already been body snatched. Remember in the end of Body Snatchers? Everybody was walking around. You had to act like a robotoid in order for them not to know. And as soon as you showed emotions, them mother freakers would chase you. And the whole town, remember, they were dropping it like hot pods everywhere. Okay? It's so amazing that they have like that, the thing called pods. Look how they socially engineer us to get used to these names, pods. When you go moving, you have pods, right? That's crazy. So people have been body snatched. Graphene, anyone? Graphene, right? Graphene, okay? And then you got mofos walking around here, bigger to the zoomies. You got mofos walking around here without belly buttons. Now you got to ask people if they got a belly button because they could be part of they could be a incubator baby where they don't have belly buttons. Anyone who doesn't have a belly button, that's why they have all these surgeries to kind of make you question. Like they say, oh no, I had a tummy tuck. My belly button looks weird. No, they did that so you wouldn't know the mofos who didn't have belly buttons, who got fake belly buttons to make them look like real people. Okay? Because if they don't have a belly button, chances are they're created. They're not birthed, they're created. Okay. Graphene. No, I know. This is the Starbucks cup. I told you I'm a recovering addict. I just use the cup. I have a problem. I usually put in other stuff, but because I'm mind controlled, occasionally I get gaslit by the cup. I'm not perfect. At least I'm not drinking and smoking like, non-initiated, the hybrid marijuanas, right? I'm not chiefing. Y'all who are going to dispensaries, y'all are hijacked too. Graphene. Cloned up, y'all. They got all kinds of craziness. Listen, we've been high. Listen, you talk about the madness. Listen, I said I have a problem. It's like saying to alcohol, like alcoholics who stop drinking, they still may want to hold the bottle. I didn't say I'm perfect. If you're looking for perfection here, I'm not. That's probably why I'm able to get this information, because I'm not perfect. If I was showing up perfect, I wouldn't care. I want to stay in the matrix and hang out with the loopy lifers. If I was actually perfect in every way, I'd want to hang out with the loopers, the lifetime loopers, right? So be happy. I got idiosyncrasies and imperfections, because that's why I'm going to leave this firmament. If everything was all good in the hood, I would stay with the lifetime loopers. Listen, they got graphene. I would be okay putting chips in my arm. I would be skinny. Everything. I'm leaving because I'm weird, and I haven't fitted in. I haven't fit in this matrix ever. Okay. So yeah. So I got problems, y'all. Got problems, everybody. Listen, at least I'm not smoking on here. If I was smoking, I have problems, because then I would be basically placating, putting all those other extra entities on you. Okay. Anyway, let's go into it. You get me distracted. Okay. Oh, wait, my computer. Hold on. Oh,